let's talk about Sonnet 4 of the Bloodless Blade. As always, I'm not going to reread the whole poem as a single block, but I will go through line by line and explain what my meaning was. So our town is at the border of two lands, and soldiers from both kingdoms claim a tithe. This is coming back to what we learned in Sonnet 2. So back here, our taxes paid both ways. This line here. We're really expanding on this now. So our town is at the border of two lands, and soldiers from both kingdoms claim a tithe. So people from both kingdoms, they show up and they say, hey, pay our taxes. And they can't really say no, because those people have swords. And they just have scythes and pitchforks for farming. They can't go against armored knights in swords. Armored knights in swords. Yes, that's totally what I meant. Anyway, they can't go against armored knights with swords or even just trained soldiers of any kind, so they kind of just have to hand over whatever taxes they're told to pay, which is probably going to be some percentage of their crop yield. And then, of late, both sides have more and more demands, and soon we fear will die by sword or scythe. So this is a very important line here. Of late, both sides have more and more demands. That's how they know there's a war coming, because both kingdoms are being like, we need more taxes. We are taxing everyone more because we are getting ready for a war footing. We're getting ready for a wartime economy, which means we're going to have to tax people more so that we can pay for the war. That's why they have more demands. And soon we fear we'll die by sword or scythe. So what I mean by sword or scythe here is either they're going to come here and kill us, or we're going to die because we are overworked on the farms because they keep taxing us more and we don't have enough to feed ourselves. So I'm using scythe here to refer to the farming equipment, not to refer to any kind of weapon. Because, I mean, a scythe is not exactly a good weapon to begin with. It's just something you use as a weapon if you don't have anything else. Then we have, the river sets the border of your rule. So this is again referring to this river. We are on a river. This is relevant. This geography matters. Now we get on to, he's getting really, really emotional now. And this is going to be a really huge single sentence going from here all the way down to here, which is supposed to be in a single breath. I wasn't able to do that when I made the short for this one. Gonna try again. All right. Our homes sit on and by a bridge that spans those waters, forcing us each year to pool our grain and lumber so that we can plan how we'll survive the winter after kings extract a price for our convenience as their excuse to call upon the slings of war, and so they'll grant no lenience for we whose labour sates their lust to feast, and so our lives are valued less than beasts. Okay, I managed it that time. Single breath. I ended up having to take a breath before, and so they'll grant no lenience when I made it for the short. It's fine. It's blah. Regardless. I'll explain it now. So our homes sit on and by a bridge that spans those waters, forcing us each year to pull our grain and lumber so that we can plan how we'll survive the winter. So they're saying, hey, we mill grain. So we mill grain and we cut lumber. So we use water mills. They use water mills of some kind. That's what we're learning here. But they're taxed so much that even though they have the resource of this flowing river, they still need to plan really well to survive the winter when, of course, you don't really have that many crops growing in this particular situation. So after kings extract a price for our convenience as their excuse to call upon the slings of war. So that is why they are taxed both ways. That's why the soldiers don't care, because to them, this town is an excuse. It is a go to war, press here to start button. That is what the town is to both of these kingdoms. That's why they both keep taxing it, and they do not care that these people are experiencing a really horrible time compared to everyone else. And they can't just move. Not in an early Renaissance period setting. I mean, this is a fantasy setting, but it's still an early Renaissance setting. They don't really have the mobility to be able to just go anywhere they want. So, of course, they have to stay there. And just be the excuse. They have to be the war between kingdoms, press here to start button. And so they'll grant no lenience for we whose labour sates their lust to feast. This is just saying the same thing I just said, is of course they're not going to stop taxing them, because one, they're getting a lot of taxes out of it, which is great for them, and also it's convenient. So of course they're going to keep taxing them. And so our lives are valued less than beasts. Yeah, because they would be like, oh yeah, we're not going to, if a cow can't give us all the milk we need because it would die if we tried to force it to produce more milk, then we're not going to make it produce more milk because we need that cow to still be around. But this town, they can die, we don't care. They're an excuse to start a war if we want to. So this is a pretty depressing one, this particular sonnet, sonnet number 4. But let me know what you think and subscribe if you want to see more.